Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality. I'm coming back with you today with an article from The Federalist. This is dated, let's see here, September 30th, and it's got a wonderful picture of everyone's favorite congresswoman here. It says, Democrats' relentless demonizing paves the way for the next political assassination, and we're just going to keep harping on this because it is worth talking about. It says, U.S. politics is a tinderbox right now, and leftists like California Governor Gavin Newsom and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, that's my governor, keep striking matches. And they don't know when to stop. They'll just keep calling you a fascist or a World War II-era German person and think nothing of it. It says, in their perverse pursuit of power, leftist politicians are daily signing the death warrant for the next political assassination. It's now a matter of when, not if. You can't relentlessly call your enemies, as I already said, Nazis, fascists, and tyrants without giving license to homicidal leftists to do what they do best, attack their perceived existential threats. Just ask the family and friends of Christian evangelizer and conservative icon Charlie Kirk, or President Donald Trump, who is intimately familiar with what the unhinged left is capable of. American politics is a tinderbox right now, and leftists like California Governor Gavin Newsom and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker keep striking matches. GOP Rapid Response on Monday released a list of 10 of the more incendiary comments from Democrat polls. How do you pronounce that word anyway? I've seen it before, and I'd never know if it's polls or polls, whatever. Democrat people. In the days following Kirk's cold-blooded murder on September 10th. It's already been like 3 weeks. It seems like it just happened. It says it's a veritable who's who of hate from liberal politicians stoking the fires of political violence. And the next section here just says fascist with an exclamation point. You know, the word that the leftists like to use so much that they don't seem to actually know the definition of. It says Newsom, who has visions of presidential sugar plums dancing in his head, has cranked up the hateful political vilification, even as his fellow Democrats offer platitudes about turning down the heat. They say turning down the heat, and then they're the ones that are actually turning up the heat. Newsom's official state press X account on Friday called Trump advisor Stephen Miller an all-caps fascist. And in all caps here it says, ding-dongs in the White House. If you don't want us to call you a fascist, then stop doing fascist things, Newsom's team declared in a separate post. And the response to that, I think I put something on their timeline that was just the Inigo Montoya thing from The Princess Bride that says, you keep using that word, I do not think it means what you think it means. And they don't know what it means, because if you knew anything about what fascism is, you know that Donald Trump is doing literally nothing that could be considered fascist in any way, shape, or form. And if you think he is, you're just dumb. Sorry to break the news to you. So it says, apparently to Newsom and crew, enforcing federal law, restoring America's borders, and in general doing what voters elected you to do in a constitutional republic is the stuff of dictators. According to Pritzker, the duly elected Republican president of the United States and his administration are architects of the next Holocaust. And, oh great, a quote from J.B. Pritzker. It says, look, I built a Holocaust museum with survivors. I've also read a whole lot of authoritarian regimes, and this is the playbook, folks. The morbidly obese liberal told former Biden liar Jen Psaki a week after Kirk was murdered by a suspect saturating leftist hate. And no, it's not in any way, shape, or form the playbook. So J.B. Pritzker obviously read these things and he either read them and didn't understand anything about them, or he didn't actually read the things he said he read. Because this is a stupid thing that he said, because it's just not true. Because I don't know what the hell Pritzker is reading, but Trump 2.0 is nothing like the Third Reich systematic extermination of millions of human beings, of which Pritzker is one, mind you. Says it is a false and vile equivalency. Says Pritzker urged his liberal listeners to do something about it. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay, it says if you're not paying attention now and doing something about it, well then you're going to have to sit down for the rest of your life because democracy is being taken away, he told Psaki. How? No, democracy was being taken away during the Joe Biden administration. If you know, you know. Okay, it's not in any way, shape, or form being taken away under the Trump administration. Again, if you think that, you're dumb. So it says, what does that mean? What does that mean to the violence-inclined liberal in the throes of severe Trump derangement syndrome? Here's the Democrat Party's constant message. You will lose democracy if you don't stop Trump. That seems like a lot to lose. It isn't true, but it is urgent. It's a good sentence there. I mean, it isn't true, but it's urgent. Okay? Says this type of vile rhetoric led to Charlie Kirk's assassination, the Republican National Committee said in response to Pritzker's violent stoking comments. When will enough be enough? Okay, and he's not going to stop. That's the thing, and there's the embedded tweet. So certainly not until Democrats regain power and their vengeance for Trump and the MAGA movement that returned him to the White House is sated. And most likely not even then. No, it never will be. They just want the power, and that's it. And then they're going to come after you. And they're acting like they've never come after you before. They're going to be like, well, just wait till we get power. It's like, we know. It already happened. Okay? We had 8 years of Obama and 4 of Biden. We know what happened. So then it says communist dictator. And this is a funny as hell comment that was made that I can't remember who said it. I'm just scanning the article really quick here. Well, we'll get to it, whatever. But, it's Kamala, right? She said that Trump was acting like a communist dictator, and it's like, as an actual communist, Kamala, you don't seem to know what communist dictators do. So it says, Dems have learned nothing from the past or the present, making the future an increasingly dangerous place for conservatives. Not cutting that out. It says, you can't falsely suggest the Trump years are remotely akin to the KKK-laden Jim Crow era and not invoke the kind of volatile anger that ends in political violence. But New York Representative Hakeem Jeffries, who's just, if Democrats, if you want to, actually, start making moves in the polls and not have your, have a 16% approval rating, you might want to replace him because he's stupid. So he's the Democrats' House leader, said he did that just last week at last week's Congressional Black Caucus Foundation's Legislative Caucus. Says, now we know in this great country of ours, whenever progress has been made, it has always triggered a backlash amongst those interested in elevating white supremacy, this ugly underbelly in American life. Jeffrey said, okay, Hakeem, are the white supremacists in the room with you right now? Where are these people? Okay, they're out there, and I know they exist, but where are they, though? But he's just it's the trust me bro thing, just they're there. You can't see them, they don't actually do anything, and they never make themselves known, but they're a problem. Okay, sure. Trust me, bro. Says there was the progress of emancipation and reconstruction followed by the backlash of Jim Crow, the KKK, and a lynching epidemic. Yes, from Democrats. Okay? And if you know anything about history, there was no party switch. Don't bring that shit in here. It never happened. Okay? It's Democrats. Hakeem Jeffries has been so indoctrinated that he's part of the political party that killed a lot of his people and hunted them down. So think about that one for a minute. So in the list of Democrats lighting the political violence goes on and on. It says failed former vice president and widely rejected presidential candidate Kamala Harris trying to sell her Blame Everybody But Me book at Americans on the idea of another Kamala presidential run, and God forbid that happen, recently called Trump a tyrant and a communist dictator on Rachel Maddow's cable TV leftist fest. And again, Kamala, this is why you're not president, because you're a moron. It's an interesting turn of phrase from the replacement standard bearer of a political party that is lurched aggressively to the far left. And our favorite congresswoman here says Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett, as she is wont to do, recently vilified Trump as a fascist, wannabe dictator, hater-in-chief, and racist-in-chief. And please God, anybody in the media, if you even want me to start taking you seriously, I'm talking specifically about left-wing media, whenever someone calls someone else a fascist, please just say, can you define what that is? Can you tell me what that means? You keep using the word. And the problem is they won't do that because they think the same things as Jasmine Crockett, where it's just, I don't like him, so he's a fascist. That's it. That's not what it is. And Representative Maxwell Frost, who is another grade A retard, the Florida Democrat, declared in the wake of Kirk's murder that fascism is not the way it is here. And again, another person that doesn't actually know what fascism is. See, none of them do. It says constant demonization. Virginia State Delegate Gary Higgins, Geary, I'm sure it's pronounced Gary, but why are you spelling it like Geary? Like gears of a car. Anyway, so Gary Higgins appears to be the latest conservative victim of the demonization campaign. In a statement released Monday, the Lovettsville Republican said he received a death threat via text. According to multiple media reports, police have identified the suspect as Patrick Murphy of Purcellville, Virginia. Higgins' office reported that the message menaced, I'm just not going to read that because of YouTube things, I will boom you at your next public rally, then send you memes with the photos. I know where the effing kids are too. So he's a nice person. As Higgins wrote on X that the threat he received is the direct result of the nasty lies and constant demonization from the radical left that we've seen over the last few years. He noted Democrat candidate for governor Abigail Spanberger's recent controversial comments that her supporters should let their rage fuel them, and that his opponent in Virginia's November election, bed and breakfast proprietor John McAuliffe, is running ads calling him a crook and a treasonist. Says it should be shocking to no one that continuing to call your political opponents names like Nazis will ultimately lead to violence, Higgins wrote. Yeah, again, Democrats aren't going to learn. Says rage gives people a license. Says legal analyst Jonathan Turley asserts all that rage comes at a cost in politics. In a column published over the weekend in The Hill, the law professor notes Democrats have ratcheted up anti-ICE rhetoric, putting in greater peril agents who have experienced a 1,000+% increase in attacks. That includes the recent sniper attack at a Texas ICE facility that killed a detainee that was aimed at ICE agents, according to law enforcement officials. Yeah, that nice job, kid. You tried to kill the agents and you ended up killing a detainee, the people you were supposedly trying to help. Good job, you dumbass. At least you did us a favor on the way out. Anyway, as Americans are increasingly alarmed, a recent Quinnipiac University poll found 71% of registered voters surveyed believe politically motivated violence in the U.S. today is a very serious issue. Another 22% said it is a somewhat serious problem. Just 3% said political violence isn't much of a problem, and 1% didn't see it as a problem at all. The same poll found 8 in 10 voters believe the U.S. is in a crisis. It says rage gives people license to say and do things that they would not otherwise say or do. It is addictive, it is contagious, and it is dangerous, Turley wrote. And yes, I would agree with that. And where I'd probably fall in here is I'd be in that 71% that believes politically motivated violence in the U.S. today is a very serious issue. And it is. I mean, we've seen it here. It's like, I have never asked my parents this. They were very much alive during the 70s. And I wonder what they would think about this, or if this reminds them of that. They were in, where were they? In 70s, mainly in like Chicago. So like actually in Chicago, not the suburbs where we all are now, but that's where they were. So there might have been some stuff going on there. But anyway, that is this article here. So what do you think about this? Do you think political violence is going to get toned down? Do you think the Democrats are going to stop? Because I certainly don't. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.